La di dum dum da. I think we're on. I think we're on. I think we're on. Hello, everybody. Wow. So sorry about the delay. What is the delay? Well, the delay is the fact that it's Los Angeles, and as you know, it's usually about, I don't know, about 70, 80 degrees here on a normal day. And what happened today? Well, as of last night, it started pouring with rain. And when it rains in LA, first of all, it doesn't rain very often, but when it does rain in LA, it is torrential. It is insane. So I had a sick child last night, and so I didn't get much sleep. My wife didn't get much sleep. None of us got much sleep, but we took my son to school in the torrential rain. He wasn't the sick child, and so I had to leave very early. But unfortunately, Eric didn't think about the rain, so he got here very late. So there you go. You know, but it's not like he's a native or anything, is it, Eric? What we need to do is we need to have like one of those sort of like have the other camera on him over there, and we can flick to him and like when we're teasing him. But his hair looks really good today, doesn't it, Eric? He definitely got to spend an extra 20 minutes getting his hair to look good. He may have been late, but his hair looks great. Anyway, all teasing aside, we're big, we're bad, and we're back. What is today all about? Well, today's all about what we do in the Academy. This is something that we do just for Academy members. Every single week, we review the mixes. So we give away multi-tracks every month. Every month, we give away multi-tracks by tons of different artists. And then we do this. We review them. We listen to everybody's mixes. It's a lot of fun. So if you are an Academy member, welcome. You know what we're about to do. And if you're not an Academy member, this is what we do in the Academy. So let me say hello to everybody. Sheila says, yes, let's get another camera. Well, we are actually moving into that world. We've just been slow on the uptake because we're so freaking busy. And Millerad says Eric rules. He does rule, but I do like to give him a bit of a hard time. Toby says Eric was late because he was waterproofing his hair. Peter says now he's a member. Hello, Peter. So it looks like there is a lot of members on here. I recognize a lot of them. Werewolf of LA. Hi from darkest Guernsey. Hello there in Guernsey. I need a helipad and a personal flying machine. That's what you need, apparently. Clint says that Eric needs a helipad and a personal flying machine. Miguel says, I hope his mix gets checked. I actually don't know. I didn't choose the mixes. Eric chooses them every week. It used to be Andrew, back in the olden days of Andrew's tenure. Andrew's reign of terror. Thank you, Crisp Shirt. I'm glad that you, if the Chris Shirt. So anyway, so hi there in Italy. Hello, Matty. How are you? Adam, Odessa, Texas, and in Mexico. All right. So let's listen to the track. We're going to listen to, what we're going to do is we're going to go through. Now, for those of you that aren't members, what happens is we obviously have people putting in tracks, not just of this month, so we go back to last month. Sometimes we do 2 multi-tracks in a month, so there's a lot to listen to. Wyatt Wee Wee says, hey Warren, it's raining here in England. England. What a surprise. All right, so who do we have first? We have Sergio Maggi, and his version of Sweetest Goodbye. This is a mix by an artist called Caden Cashmere. So I'm just going to go. What I've got, everything's loaded up into a Pro Tools session. You see up here. I'm up here. And I may just listen all the way from the top, and I may stop and start it as we go. So there's no promises. Sometimes we stop and talk about things. Sometimes we listen all the way down and talk about it afterwards. But let's have a listen. So here's Sergio's version of Caden Cashmere's song, The Sweetest Goodbye.
Broken, beaten down, drowning in your tears, keeps on pouring down. The fire in your heart's burned out. Feels like like nothing's left. Chasing to become a warrior, being something that you're not. Forcing the thought, you have to try so hard. You have to push so far that you let yourself burn. Do you ever learn? I have to take my part when you gone and broke my heart. I promise I'll be strong. I learned nothing, nothing all along. It's the sweetest goodbye with the fear in my mind. I can't leave you behind, but I can't seem to find my place alongside you. Let fires burn out too. You say that you're fine. It's the sweetest goodbye. You're lost in your own mind games. You feel like you will never change. Moving on is harder than it seems. So stop pretending that you're alright, that you're just fine when you don't have me to stand by. It's funny, but it's true that I'm the one that's missing you. All I did was hurt you. You made me think that I was worth you. The ones I love got hurt when I put myself first. It's the sweetest goodbye with fear in my mind. I can't leave you behind, but I can't seem to find my place alongside you. That fire's burned out too. You say that you're fine. It's the sweetest goodbye. It's the sweetest goodbye with fear in my mind. I have to leave you behind. I can't seem to find my place alongside you. Turns out I was wrong too. So say that I'm fine. It's the sweetest
Marvelous. So I'm glad we listened down to from the top to that. I think it's important to kind of hear it like that. I'm just going to turn up my vocal a little bit because I feel like the track was so much louder. Is that better? I want to get this balance just right so that you're not like listening too loud and then not hearing me. This is where I tease Eric. We never seem to get this. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. Is that better? Okay. Yeah, Sergio, you did a wonderful job. So, really wonderful job. The important thing about the Academy, and that's really, really important for those of you who are in it and will know, is that it is called Produce Like a Pro. Now, there are 1.5 million people talking about mixing. And mixing is not easy at all, but it's very easy to teach on a peripheral level. So it's very easy to tell people, boost the kick drum at 60 hertz, how to manage your low end properly. Here's my video. There's so many of those around. But as you know, there is no, or hopefully you know, there is no one size fits all. Now, there might be a million videos which sort of make you believe that you can just learn tips and tricks, you know. However, it's a lot more than about that. So everything we're going to talk about when we talk about these mixes is not it's specific to a song, and it's specific about creativity. This is really, really important that we talk about this. Now, the thing about this is, if I was going to take this song, what I would say to you, Sergio, is first of all, take your exact mix of you've done, slightly brighten the piano, and then mute everything except for the piano and the vocal, and then you have a perfect mix. Now, you're all probably going, what is Warren talking about? It's like, I feel like you understood the relationship between the piano and the vocal, which honestly is what drives this song. It's a piano vocal song. And I feel like, there was some grit to the vocal when she went through it. There was a little like extra grit on there, and I felt it like folding in a little bit. And I actually really liked that. I felt like it was great. As Neil Q is saying, art trumps technique any day. So I feel like if your mix was definitely built around the piano and the vocal. Now, this is where I was just seeing some comments going up. However, that's what I would do. Then what I would do is, if you're going to incorporate, it's not so much the guitar. Somebody said they thought the guitar was a little distant. I didn't mind that, because the guitar part was always supposed to be texture. It wasn't supposed to be like, and this is where I think, unfortunately, there's so much mis and disinformation out there. You don't need everything to be as loud as each other. I've watched videos where they're talking about, like, you need to make it everything even. That's not how you mix. Creativity in a mix should be about supporting various instruments, creating emotion. So for me, your mix would work if you brighten the piano and muted everything except for the vocal. So it's piano and vocal. That would be really, really fantastic. However, what I would do is I would really seriously, like, if you're going to bring the toms back in as well, when it goes to that, go back in there. That needs to come in and create more of a mood. It's a little confused in the low end. I think that's where we need to get into a little bit of detail, like create some room so that floor tom, when it enters, makes some sense. Let's have a listen. I mean, I'm not looking at the multi-tracks, but I know there's some tom patterns going on there, but I don't really hear them. So my options would be to take what you've got and like reverb it out a little bit, make it bigger and fuller. But see, for me, if those toms have a place, it's going to be either like oosh, like reverberated around just for mood, so there's more, it makes it more moody, or the opposite. They need to be louder and drier. It's like in between. I think when we're mixing, we need to make statements. There needs to be a purpose for something. If it's supportive, it needs to be supportive. If it needs to be big and bold, it needs to be big and bold. Where I think sometimes a lot of mixing gets confused, and a lot of these kind of conversation is where everybody is sort of encouraged to make everything sound like perfect and in its place. I don't think that is what mixing's all about. I think it's about creativity. If you listen to a song that you love, it's not because you can hear every single thing evenly. It needs to be so that everything has a purpose. So for me, those toms either need to be dry and like giving me something and taking me out of the zone, or they need to be so reverbed out that they're in the background going, So like, I mean, so Eggbot fart a lot. I love just saying that. What he's saying there is, yes, you could make this song an 80s power ballad. Or you could make it like it was a bit more intended, which is a more Adele-ish and a little less anthemic. But to make it more Adele and less anthemic, and I'm not talking about last album Adele, I'm talking about first or second album Adele, second album in particular, then those drums would be a little further away, as in like, cover them with some verb and everything, but they need to be in a place where you can hear them. So you're going to have to roll off some of the low ends and really kind of let those toms reverberate a little bit. I didn't mind the acoustics where they were, but there's a bit of glue going on, which is nice, but a little too excessive, that I'm not hearing enough definition when I need it. And it's really going to be in the low mids and the low end. This is where good high-pass filtering works really well.
It's the sweetest goodbye with fear in my mind.
Like those acoustics, where they're with the piano, you could wipe off 200 and below, like maybe even go higher. I would personally brighten them, then de-ess them, so they're more like and less crang, and then just make them dance around. Because the other thing as well is they will create like a little high-end ear candy and add some percussiveness to it. What I loved about mixers like Mark Ender, when Mark was mixing a lot of my stuff, like the phrase stuff that he did, was what he would do is you take my acoustic guitars away, I recorded them, and get rid of all of the low mids and all of the low end. Not some of it, all of it. And so what I ended up with was almost like an electric guitar. So it was like this kind of sound, like a... You hear? Now, a lot of producers, great producers, record electric guitars with a mic on it. Highly suggest it. From a production point of view, try it. So you get this, and that, so basically you're wiping off low mids and low end, and you're ending up with this acoustic guitar, which doesn't just give you melody and harmony, it gives you percussion as well, it gives you rhythm. So in a song like this, where there's not a lot of percussion elements going on, your acoustics could do that. Yeah, see, Zach says here, my acoustic guitar is more of a shaker than a tone. Oh, I'm not complaining about the rain, Steve. What I was pointing out as an Englishman, I'm not complaining about the rain. I'm complaining about the fact that the LA native, born and bred here, everybody in LA falls apart when it rains. I was joking from an English perspective, like, oh my God, it rained. Where everybody's running late, you know, where I still got my son to school early and on time and stuff and didn't get any sleep. But over here, everybody falls apart like it's raining. Oh my God, oh, what are we going to do? Oh no. So I definitely wasn't complaining about the rain. I was complaining about LA natives complaining about the rain or using it as an excuse. All right. All right, let's get on. But Sergio, great work. And this is what we do. And this is the great thing about the Academy is that it gives us, and Ron H says that effect is California-wide. Yes, it is definitely. Zach says the 101 is flooded. Okay, so this is what we get to do. We get to listen to all of our mixes, and we get to use it as a conversation piece to learn about proper mixing and production. And we do this every single week. So if you're not an Academy member, you can see what we're doing. Matt will now put a link, because at the moment you can get a year on the Academy at $70 off. Okay, Matt's going to put a link up now. And we're going to listen to David Lee's version of the same song, The Sweetest Goodbye. So this should be interesting. Now we get to hear a completely different version. And I can see it's shorter, so he's done an edit.
Broken, beaten down, drowning in your tears, keeps on pouring down. The fire in your heart's burned out. Feels like nothing's left, chasing to become a warrior, being something that you're not. Forcing the thought, you have to try so hard. You have to push so far that you let yourself burn. Do you ever learn? I have to take my part when you're gone and broke my heart. I promise I'll be strong. I learned nothing all along. It's the sweetest goodbye. With the fear in my mind, I can't leave you behind, but I can't seem to find my place alongside you. Let fires burn out too. You say that you're fine. It's the sweetest goodbye. change. Moving on is harder than it seems. So stop pretending that you're alright, that you're just fine, when you don't have me to stand by. It's funny, but it's true, that I'm the one that's missing you. All I did was hurt you. You made me think that I was worth you. The ones I love got hurt when I put myself first. It's the sweetest goodbye, with fear in my mind. I can't leave you behind, but I can't seem to find my place alongside you. That fire's burned out too. You say that you're fine. It's the sweetest goodbye. It's the sweetest goodbye, with fear in my mind. I have to leave you behind. I can't seem to find my place alongside you. Turns out I was wrong too. So I'll say that I'm fine. It's the sweetest goodbye.
Cool. Very cool ideas there, David. So this is something else to talk about from the Academy perspective. And Jasper, yes, I am listening. I do finger exercises. See, the thing about being a workaholic, being a guy that does a lot of stuff, is like you can sit here and go and just do finger exercises and still listen because the music's louder than my fingers. So anyway, I'm not one of those guys that can just sit here like on my hands. If I'm listening, I will do finger exercises, and they are mindless, but it's a great way to be warmed up. After this, we are going over to Harmony to track piano for the day, and we're going to do some filming tonight for some from upcoming stuff. We are busier than a busy thing on National Busy Day. So that explains what's going on. Anyway, and of course, I just unplugged my headphone cable. So the reason why I wanted to the thing I like about this is what David has done on his own. David has taken this and redone things the way that he wants them to be. Now, why am I bringing that up? Because it is the what we would call produce like a pro. It's also the ability to take these songs and do production as well. There's so many of our members in here that are also drummers. I can see drummers talking there, bass players, guitar players, producers, engineers, mixers, film composers, TV, you name it. And what we're able to do is share different ideas. There's a lot of collaboration, and I encourage it every single time we listen to mixes. A lot of collaboration as well between members. And it's all about it's all about sharing ideas. Now, David, on the whole, there's a few people talking about the reverb. It sounded like what you were doing on the vocal was using dynamic reverbs, probably created, because at the end here, you can hear the reverb growing over the vocal. Everybody have a listen here. So you can tell that, and then the verb grows around it, which I absolutely love. And it's really fantastic. However, what I would probably do is just have that backed off a little bit. So you have, have a little bit more of the verb going at all times. You know what I mean? So it's not just, only appearing when she's not singing. Another thing you could do is incorporate two verbs. I have no problem using multiple reverbs. Do you know how many rooms I've sat in with, CLA, you name it, all these different mixers, and they got multiple reverbs going at once and delays, but they're pushing them up and down depending on the section. But I think really honestly, that's the main thing I would change, because I know that what you've done is you've gone for your own reproduction of it. You've done your own ideas. Sasa, why are they not mixing their own songs? So Sasa, what it is, and that people do mix their own songs, but what we do here is we allow everybody to get, if they're mixing the same song, of which there's about 40 multi-tracks, everybody can communicate with each other. So what we do is we put up a song, everybody mixes the song, we discuss within it, and if there's things like really fantastic vocal sounds, they share it. So the reality is, and this is probably, I understand if you're new to this, but the reality is like, you need a control. You need a control thing. So what I mean by that is, like, if you have one vocal that everybody's accessing and they're trying different ideas, you can learn from that. Otherwise, if you're mixing something, the first thing I'll do is, if I don't have the multi-tracks and I'm listening to somebody's mix, this is the disconnect. This is what YouTube, this is the danger of YouTube and the danger of all the YouTube tuition videos, is you're talking about something with no reference point. So if I open up a video and I go, open up a multi-track on YouTube and go, what you need to do is you boost the low end and you cut this and do this. It's like, yes, on that vocal that I don't have. I don't have your multi-track that you're talking about it. How did you record it? So what we have here is everybody gets the multi-tracks and everybody is listening to the same recording. So people learn so much faster with this, because everybody here is sharing their ideas amongst each other. They're sharing their presets. Quite often, and I'm sure all the Academy members do, I go, I love this. This is the best vocal ever. How did you get this sound? Sometimes people do better mixes than I did. Or they have bits of the song which are much better. They do arrangement changes. They do overdubs which were better than my ideas. And that is the world we live in. It's just so fantastic. So David, great work. I do agree with everybody. I think a bit more effects on it in general. But I think it's probably the fact that you're using like a dynamic reverb. But otherwise, great work, great rearranging, great idea on the pianos. I love it. Really, really good. And this is another thing about Produce Like a Pro, is that ability to try out different ideas. I think the piano could have had a little bit more body, a little bit more oomph on it. The vocal could have had a little bit more oomph, a little bit more low mids in there, because, when you've got a fewer instruments, everything, David, could be a little fatter. That's another thing, is like, again, you see, here's another problem. How to get a good vocal sound. How to get a good vocal sound when? When it's with just an acoustic guitar, when it's got death metal guitars. When you've got a wall of guitars, you're going to wipe off a lot of low mids and a lot of low end out of the vocal. When you've just got a piano and a vocal, you let that be fatter. So watching those how to EQ vocals videos is going to be really, really complicated for you, because it depends on the instrumentation and the way the stuff is around. So great work, David. Love it. Fatten up the vocal a little bit. Give me a little bit more low end in there. Don't be quite so aggressive on the high passing. Same thing with the piano. Dial in just a little bit more low end, so it's just a little bigger. Give me like a constant reverb, maybe a shorter room, like a half a second or 3/4 second room that's just constantly there, just a little louder. I don't mind your dynamic delay or dynamic reverb. It was really, really good. But remember, when you're mixing, you have to mix for the song. There is no one size fits all. This is why, we're now going to go to 100 Lousy Love Songs by Chris Salem. This is a multi-track that you can download. And you can download it even if you're not a member of the Academy. Although we highly recommend it, because Matt is now going to put up a link to it. So we're going to listen to this song. And then after this one, we're going to do a giveaway. And we're going to give away Auric Wild's course, Auric Wild Mixing Rock course. Okay, here we go. Chris Salem. And this is Chris Walker's version of it, of 100 Lousy Love Songs.
Sometimes the silence in my jet black room keeps me up at night. Sometimes a lie is all that can make everything alright. It won't make it alright. Sometimes I wonder if it's coincidence that love is a four-letter word. And sometimes well-spoken negativity is the loveliest thing I've heard. Well, I've heard. Sometimes the silence in my jet black room keeps me up at night. And sometimes a lie is all that can make everything alright. It won't make it alright. It won't make it alright. Sometimes I think it's a wonderful life, and oftentimes I don't. And sometimes I'll fall for anyone who seems to think that I won't. Sometimes I think I'll kill myself just to see if God is real. Sometimes I'm an emotional vampire who chooses not to feel, not to feel, chooses not to feel.
Cool. Whoops. Just deleted something there. I'm going to stop it and talk about it a little bit because a lot of you are having a good discussion here, which is fantastic. Because let me tell you a little story. We do masterclasses here. And just so you know, I only ever advertise the masterclasses to Academy members. I don't run ads. We're a very tight-knit community. It's a wonderful community here. Everything's super positive. People really, really help each other. We don't do like mass kind of, when I do a masterclass, I only put it up in the Academy. We did one for January, mixing here at my studio, and we sold out in 13 minutes. All the places, 13 minutes. So it's and it only went to Academy members. I think that, and the reason why I mentioned that, so we had the masterclass here, and we pulled up a Rick Springfield song. And what I did is I played the rough mix of the Rick Springfield song that they had sent me. And it's a great song. It was a really fantastic song. It was off his last album. I'm actually currently mixing more stuff for him at the moment, but that's for future consumption. It's going to be a phenomenal record. But anyway, he's insanely talented. But anyway, so the guys were sitting back here listening. It's a pretty good listening position there. And we played the rough of the Rick Springfield song. And it was pretty darn good. It was pretty darn good. But one of the things that came out of it was I realized that you can skin a cat in 50 ways or 1,000 ways. You know that story. But what it is like it's learning to identify what the first issue is that's going to globally fix something, as opposed to the issues that are caused by the problem. Let me say that again. Because this is another thing where I see, information that gets a little confusing out there, is that, like for instance, I've seen videos where they talk about how to open up your mix, and they go, make it feel more open, and they go to the master bus and they pull out 350, 400, which we all know those are ugly low mids. However, you do that on the master bus, you're doing it globally. That is a last resort. That is like backwards mastering. What we should be doing is finding where those issues are that are causing the buildup. Because if you take it out globally, you are reducing it when you need it, and then where it should still be there, and then when you shouldn't be taking it out. It's not the right way of doing it. So I agree. Everybody here is saying the same thing, and I totally agree. The mix needs to be brighter. It does need to be brighter. However, one of those things that we have to remember is balance, is to make sure things are balanced. So it's not about taking It's like, what needs to be brighter? Well, that's only half the problem. The problem for me is it's very stodgy. Now, stodgy for me would be like glued together, which is not necessarily a problem, but it's got a lot of low mids and a lot of low end. And if we were to get into that low end and start creating some space, like getting the bass guitar to sort of like high pass around about 60 gently. So for you looking the other way, it would be like a slope like this. So, like a little bit of a 60 roll off. So the kick drum is peaking about 60 to 40 for the super, super lows, is doing the opposite. The kick drum has a little bit of 80 taken out of it, a little bit of 100, a little bit of 110. Just, take out a little bybos and, just take out a little bit of that area. Just let the bass guitar breathe. So and if you're already doing that, just get that slope and make it a little tighter. We need to create some more. So what I'm saying, like, if you go in there first and address the excessive amount of low end in there and just tighten it up and don't go crazy, just tighten it up a little bit, that high end is going to start to breathe. Because one of the problems is that you've got a master bus compression and stuff like that, and you're sending a lot of stuff, a lot of low end in there. That's going to start reacting first. So if you can get in there and clean up the low end, then look at the high end. It's all about identifying the first major issue, because that will affect how you hear everything else. If you just take this mix and put some 10 and 12K across it, yeah, it will sound better, but it won't solve the first problem. And the first problem is creating more space in the low end, more ability to breathe. And we know we talk about this every time. You've got to effectively high pass. So that's the bottom line. Eric, David is asking you to send him Stay, the mix. And also Jeff and everybody said they never got the mix last night. And I can't see the hightail, so I think you forgot to send it. We stayed up late to do a mix and it never got sent. So we didn't have to stay up late to do a mix. All right. Actually, I wrote a song from scratch for a commercial last night. That was our day yesterday. What did we do yesterday? Here's a typical day in the life of Warren and Eric. We did, what did we do? We started we filmed a video with In the Mix. We did that. I mean, I did 1,000 conference calls and stuff before that. And then we worked with Kylie Hughes on 4 songs, doing some additional production. I played some guitar stuff. We sang some stuff. And then she left, and then I wrote and recorded from scratch a song for a commercial that we forgot to send to the people that wanted it this morning. Say it again?
It's right here. Let them know to check your spam.
It's what?
I see on ITIL.
Yeah, nobody got it, and I didn't get it either.
I'll send it again.
Yeah, I didn't get a notification that it had been sent. So, and now David is asking me to send him Stay Mix because he says he doesn't have that either. God bless America. This is what you get when you're really, really busy. And this is what, I'm not going to complain. This is what is known as a quality problem. And what do we have to download? We have to download multi-tracks for orchestral arrangements for an artist. And we got a lot going on. But this is why we do this. We do this because this is the real world. You want to know what it's really like to make and record and mix songs. So I've just had a little conversation talking about low end definition between low mids and low end and creating clarity. Now let's go back to the mix and listen to it from that point of view.
And sometimes I'm everything I swore I'd never be. Jet black silence is all that's left of me. And sometimes I accept the fact as far as I can see. 100 lousy love songs.
Bravo. No, that was not me on guitar. I assume that was Chris Walker. Are you here, Chris Walker? That was fantastic. So he played an acoustic solo. And then he played an electric solo. Whoops. So what's interesting, the bass can come down in general in the whole mix. The bass can come down like a dB to a dB and a half, then carve out some low mids. And I think the mix is going to come a lot more to alive than you think. The brightness will be there. So it's interesting. I actually, honestly, 100% believe that is going to revolutionize it. Bass down, low mids, bit of high passing. And Chris, wonderful work. The guitar was really, really good. And this is why we always talk about this. This is why it's called produce like a pro. Not mix. There's more to it. Mixing becomes a lot easier when you have great production. And mixing is not fixing. Mixing should be presenting the song in the best possible way. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to give away the Ulrich Wild Mixing Rock course, which is absolutely freaking amazing. And if you know Ulrich, he did Pantera, Static X, Galacticon, Metal Apocalypse, and a whole bunch of other schnizzle. And he's ridiculously talented, and he's Swiss, so he's really smart. Anybody from Switzerland here? He's very smart, speaks multiple languages, and just really, really great guy. And so you're going to win his course. And if you stick around to the end, we're also going to give away a year's Academy membership. Okay, and Matt has been posting lots of links to the Academy. This is what we do every single week. We do this, and it's a lot of fun. So if you're not an Academy member, this is what you get to look forward to. Okay, so what do I want to know? First of all, would you hit that like button and share? So let's have a look. I look to see who's online. We have 351 people watching. Thank you ever so much. Please hit that like button. We have 145 likes. Can we make it 351? I see we have 2 dislikes for me mentioning the fact that we high pass. I'm sorry. Nobody likes talking about that. They're always like, it's, But so I'm just teasing. I have no idea. We just make a joke about that. But anyway, cut a long story short, please hit the like button. We got 357 people on there. If you can hit like, that would be amazing. Stick around because you're now going to be able to win. A free copy of Ulrich's Mixing in the Box. He actually mixes entirely in the box using Logic. So if you're also a Logic user, that's pretty tasty as well. Not all of our mentors. We have a ton of mentors. A ton of mentors, and they all use different DAWs. So it's not always Pro Tools. It is Pro Tools. It is Logic. We got more people coming in using FL Studio. We got some Cubase people. It's pretty amazing. Thank you ever so much, Jonino. Thou shalt not high pass. I haven't said the word mix enough. Mix. There you go. Is that better? All right. So please like, please share. And what I want to know is, what DAW are you using? Tell us what DAW is. All you need to do to enter to win a free mixing course from Ulrich. What DAW are you using? And we're going to do 3 of these giveaways. It's the first of 3. The last one will be not only his course, but also a year's membership to the Academy. So let us know, what DAW are you using? That's all you have to say. And if you don't use a DAW, you mix on tape, say mixing on tape. If you only work on your iPad, say iPad. Let us know.
Sometimes the silence in my jet black room keeps me up at night. Sometimes a lie is all that can make everything alright. It won't make it alright. sometimes I wonder if it's coincidence that love is a four-letter word. And sometimes well-spoken negativity is the loveliest thing I've heard. Well, I've heard. And sometimes the silence in my jet black room keeps me up at night. And sometimes a lie is all that can make everything alright. It won't make it alright. It won't make it alright. Well, sometimes I think it's a wonderful life, and oftentimes I don't. And sometimes I'll fall for anyone who seems to think that I won't. And sometimes I think I'll kill myself just to see if God is real. And sometimes I'm an emotional vampire who chooses not to feel, not to feel, chooses not to feel. And sometimes I'm everything I swore I'd never be. And jet black silence is all that's left of me. And sometimes I accept the fact as far as I could see 100 lousy love songs.
We listened to the whole song, and I love having the respect of listening to something. Obviously, it was really, really fantastic work. Ozzy always does great stuff. He's incredibly helpful to everybody in the Academy. I mean, just alone that both Chris's and Ozzy's songs allow us to see a different way that you can do stuff. This is really, really important. This is a massively important thing about having this Academy, is that you also get to see that there's no one way of doing something. Now, what Ozzy did here was really, really grow this song exponentially. I mean, it started very controlled. It's like he's compressing it really well, but he's allowing it to grow, allowing it to grow, allowing it to grow, allowing it to grow, till you finally get to this section at the end where it's just massive. One of the difficulties with this song, and I challenge all of you that haven't yet mixed it, or people that are going to join the Academy after this, looks like a couple of people have already joined, that's amazing, is that this is a very, very complicated song. It's sort of simple for a lot of it, and then have a listen to what's going on, with this Dum 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 gow dum 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 dum. There's this arpeggiated guitar that I added. I play all the guitars and the bass on this, so except for what Ozzy added, that amazing solo. Bravo, great work, Ozzy. But have a listen to the arpeggiated guitars. Dum 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 dum. Listen again. I mean, that is a very dense but very, very well done mix. I would say you can get in there with a little bit more detail on some of the low mids and all that kind of stuff, but it's really, really super close. Now, if I have any one thing to say about it is, firstly, the dynamics are phenomenal. I mean, I don't like to look at music. I can hear it and I can hear the dynamics growing. But even if you look at it, he did not limit the heck out of it. Now, don't get me wrong. There are plenty of times where it's okay to have it be absolutely slamming. Now, there are strings on the song. However, Ozzy may have added something a little different. The reason why I think that is because listen to the end. That sounds like he's creating something from like a feedback loop on a delay or something. It almost, the way it sounds to me is it's actually an organ, but it probably isn't an organ. It's probably something from the guitar pipe. The $99 is the special price. My voice is clipping, or you're just talking about what you can see, or you're talking about what you can hear. Does it sound clipped or does it look clipped? I'm not worried about what it looks like. Yeah, it's really, really good. I mean, this is a fantastic mix. I think a little bit more detail on some of the lows would be really good. Just tiny bit of tightening. However, it's a very, very effective mix. The biggest thing for me is it needs less de-essing and more de-essing at some times. There's a little bit going here. Have a listen here.
Sometimes the silence in my jet black room.
It says remove some plugins. It's hilarious. There isn't any plugins.
Sometimes the silence in my jet black room keeps me up at night.
So it's just that sometimes the silence, sometimes zip, zip, zoom. So what we talk about a lot, that's really my only kind of concern is just the vocal, the way when it comes in there. We talk about this a lot is not being afraid to treat instruments, vocals, all of those kind of things differently throughout the song. One of the things that I see a lot of people doing, and I understand, is they mix everything for the beginning of the song. Ozzy didn't do this. This is not a discussion about what Ozzy did, because obviously he didn't do that. Is because if you look, there's so much dynamics. If you listen, more importantly, you hear the dynamics, you hear the song growing. As we pointed out, when his solo ends, it goes even bigger after the solo. This is really, really a very, very creative, very well done mix. He's working at a very high level here. But the vocal, I think, needs a different EQ on the front of the song than it does near the end. So this is really, really important. So GS9, you can download these multi-tracks. This is one we actually gave out. Otherwise, all of these other songs are Academy songs. Okay. Great work, Ozzy. Really good. Now this is where it gets fun. Now, we have quite a few guys and girls in here who will take mixes and do whatever the heck they like. You've seen people add guitar parts. Obviously, Chris Walker doubled up the solo section so he could do an acoustic and an electric solo. But our friend, Brian for President, will completely remix the song and just turn it into something different. So get ready for some insanity. I haven't listened to this, so I don't know what it's going to be, but he usually does some crazy insanity. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Brian for President.
Sometimes the silence in my jet black room keeps me up at night. Sometimes I wonder if it's coincidence that love is a four-letter word. Sometimes the silence in my jet black room keeps me up at night. It won't make it alright. Sometimes I think it's a wonderful life, and oftentimes I don't. Sometimes I think I'll kill myself just to see if God is real. And sometimes I'm everything I swore I'd never be. And jet black silence is all that's left of me. And sometimes I accept the fact, as far as I could see, 100 lousy love songs. It won't make it alright. Sometimes I'm everything I swore I'd never be. And jet black silence is all that's left of me. And sometimes I accept the fact, as far as I could see, it won't make it alright.
Insanity at its finest. Brian always does incredible stuff. I love that. I totally love that. There's a lot of conversation going on here, and I don't disagree with lots of it. Sometimes the timing could be a little better here and there, but for this kind of genre, it's pretty darn good. It's pretty darn good. Most people take like tiny, tiny pieces of vocal and use them. The fact that Brian will take huge chunks of the song and retime it, it's really, really cool. But look, let's be honest. This is what makes this academy so fantastic, that we have guys and girls inside that do this kind of thing. Because now what you do is you have access to each other. Somebody was asking for Brian's information, where you go, and I know he does. You hit up Brian and say, hey, Brian, would you help me with the song? Would you do some programming on it? That is what this is all about. It is about that kind of stuff. It's about allowing people the ability to connect to each other and create this amazing community that you have. Great work. Brian, love what you're doing. Thank you for being a big part of our community. All right, next up is Luca. And Luca's version of, Blame It on the Whiskey. Now we're going back. We're going back to Robert John and the Wreck. Now, Robert John and the Wreck is like a 70s style rock band. I actually got an email this morning about somebody wanting to use one of their songs for a video game. So it's fingers crossed that goes through. This is the world we live in. It's like another thing is like we're being able to talk about all of these different things. Because, unlike other YouTube channels, we do actually work in the music industry. This is actually what we do for a living. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm not a professional YouTuber. The song that, you don't know the name of the song? I mean, it's written here. It's called 100 Lousy Love Songs. There you go. If you want me to do it for you, what I would do is I would go producelikeapro.com and on Google, and then I would go to the blog and hit the blog, and you'll see that there's all these blogs and tons of multi-tracks, and it's only about 3 videos back, or you can go to YouTube and go back 3 videos and do all of that. But there you go. It's free. You can download it. Okie dokie. Otherwise, it's Academy members only, and there's like 40 plus multi-tracks in there, and it grows 1 to 2 version a month, sorry. Sometimes more. All right, here we go. Blame It on the Whiskey by Luca.
Blame it on the whiskey. Blame it on a bad week. Blame it on the only thing you've ever seen. Run and tell your mother. Blame it on your brother. Blame it on the only thing you've ever heard. Tall tale why you was a raising uphill, falling like the hardest stone that ever fell. Blame it on a bad dream. No, it didn't mean a damn thing. Anything to keep yourself from coming clean. Shoulder, everybody's moving on, you're growing colder. So blame it on the whiskey, blame it on your company. No, it really doesn't matter all that much to me. All you do is lie, all you do is try to deny. All you do is lie, even when you know it just ain't right. All you do is lie. All you do is lie. All you do is try to deny. All you do is lie, even when you know it just ain't right. All you do is lie. All you do is try to deny. All you do is lie, even when you know it just ain't right. All you do is lie. Blame it on the whiskey.
Great. Okay. I'm listening and I'm watching all the comments going, I think we're all in the same place. I think I'll stay away for the obvious one for a second. I think definitely a little bit of build up in the low mids and stuff like that. Thanks, Sean. Yes, everybody, please like and subscribe. Yeah, if you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe to the channel. I mean, if you're an Academy member, great, you probably already subscribed, but those of you that aren't, please subscribe to the channel. Now, yeah, I agree. A little bit more low mid. This was an interesting one. I'll give you a quick story. This is recorded live in a room. So there's a lot of bleed between stuff. We definitely did a lot of work with the drummer, should we say. This was an early part of a process where I was encouraging him to lay his stick across the rim and the center of the drum. Now, one of the problems is when you're playing rock, and it's, even though this isn't metal, of course this isn't metal, but it's still rock, and it's got big distorted guitars on it. It's southern rock. It's kind of got a little bit of what people now are calling country, but back in the day, this was more southern rock. This was American style 70s rock. And it just needs that, it needs a little bit more ring from the rim itself, a little bit more metal in there. I want to hear that. But unfortunately, he was hitting more in the center of the snare, and the head was getting dead because we recorded 10 songs in one day, start to finish, 10 songs in a day. So when you're recording 10 songs in a day, there's only so much maintenance you can do on drums and stuff. Now, that's the point. That's the whole point. If you've been here since the beginning, or you want to go back and refresh and watch it from the beginning, we went from a piano vocal song with strings, Sweetest Goodbye, 100 Lousy Love Songs, drums recorded here with me playing all the instruments, and then a remix done completely in the box, a remix. And now we're going to a song recorded live out of 10 songs. There's no one style. That's the great thing about the Academy, is that there's a million different ways of doing it. There's no one genre. We have songs in here that are from tape that have been transferred into DAW so you can mix. It's absolutely nuts. But anyway, so yeah, 10 in one day. No, don't get me wrong. We overdubbed the vocals at a later point. He sang live in a room, but the bleed was so heavy that we ended up overdubbing the vocals. So you do have a lead vocal that with separation on it, but everything else is bleeding into each other. Yeah, I mean, somebody's saying Brendan O'Brien style. I mean, it's just style. It's not Brendan O'Brien's thing. People made records like that for years. That's how records were made. Everybody playing in a room together, and that was just part of the whole magic of doing it. Okay. Yeah, well, rim shot is yes and no. Some people call a rim shot when they lay it across the snare and then they play the rim. So there's side stick, rim shot. There's a lot of confusion. So I literally will just describe it exactly. Just because one person's rim shot, one person's bus is another person's auxiliary is a subgroup. Master is another person's mix bus is a... You get what I'm saying. I tend to find the best thing to do when you're talking music is to be very descriptive. I try to encourage the people that work for me when they're creating like playlists and stuff to be really exact, to say things like, like be very, very exact about what things are. Anyway, I really, really liked the mix. I thought it was pretty phenomenal, but it's more of an issue with the drums. So sometimes you have to get creative. Sometimes you have to bite the bullet. There's some thickness, some low mids. There's some 600 going on. 400, 600 needs to be pulled out, needs to be found. You have to sweep it, find the area, use a plugin, a PAS, frequency analyzer, whatever it is. Find out what's going on in those low mids and the ugliness in that mid-range. And I agree. People are using words like snap and crack on the snare, stuff like that. But also, I wouldn't be opposed, and this is going to upset the purists, I wouldn't be opposed to flying in a bit of a sample against it. Sometimes that's what you have to do. Now, we did mix stuff like that. The whole idea of this stuff was to give people things without any samples on it. But sometimes you have to do what you have to do. I'm not saying lie to the band, but just give them the results that they want to hear. So if you have to absolutely get it, Low cut, high pass, potato, side stick, rim shot. There you go, Kevin. So, a lot of it is out of his control. It's not Luca's issue. A lot of the problem there was to do with the recording and the way that the drummer played. And when you're doing 10 songs in a day and you're going in there and talking to him about it, there's only so much that you can do. And to be honest, I've heard records like this over the years sound much worse. So, you have to do what you have to do. But yes, I would definitely work on the snare, definitely work on the low end and get some clarity in there. But otherwise, fantastic work, Luca. All right, let's do another giveaway. So this is for Ulrich Wild's mixing rock. And so what do I want to know? Well, you've already kind of told me what I want to know. But I want a bit more detail. What are you monitoring on? And be specific. If you're monitoring on headphones, tell me what headphones are you listening on? Yay! Mojo's Army just signed up for the Academy. Great. So we're going to see this every week, Mojo. So this is a lot of fun. So what I'd like to know is what headphones do you use? What monitors are you listening through? What are you using exactly? Mike, we'll pick you. We can pick anybody at random, but we want to know. We want to know, what are you using? All right, M Audio CX5, Samson 380 headphones. And if you're using it with Sonarworks as well, big shout out to Sonarworks. MDR 7506s, DT990 Pros. Now or normally? Now. I want to know what you're using. Blue Lolas. Nice. Crappy earbuds at work. That's fine. Genelec 1030s. Lovely. Sennheiser. Yamahas. Alesis monitors. KRKs. AKG 701s. Focals. Lovely. Blue headphones. Kali speakers. Great. Big shout out to Kali. We love Kali. They're getting people making music at $300 a pair. Well, $298 to be exact. So what else are you listening on? Remember, you can't enter unless you tell us. So I want everybody to tell us what they're using. There is 3. How many we got? How many people we got online at the moment? And by the way, hit the like button. Please hit that like. If you haven't already hit it, hit the like button. And if you can, share. I see we have 259 likes, but we have 350 people watching. So let's see if we can get that up to over 300 likes. Please hit the like button. That would be absolutely amazing. Hit the like button. You can win a free course from Ulrich Wild, Mixing Rock. Hit the like button. Hit that like button and share, please. Okay, Matt's going to choose somebody. We're going to listen to Kepler's version of Wide Awake. Wide Awake was a song I recorded with a girl singer called Lily from a band that she used to be in called Little Empire. It's a song that she and I wrote together and recorded together. The drums are finger drums, are just a kick and a snare being triggered from Addictive Drums. That's all I did, kick and snare, and then I played everything else. It is my, as Americans would say, homage, or in England and the UK we would say paying homage to the Police. You're going to hear.
With the moonlight don't fade, with the moonlight don't fade.
Okay, so a lot of discussion going on, and I don't disagree. I think that here's what's interesting. Pink put out a song, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago, and it was like a Hendrix kind of style groove. And basically, what it was this song. Reason why I say it, this song is basically a Police guitar part with a kick and snare. Yeah, there's some bass, but it's really that. It's very, very simplistic. So we gave this song up, we put this song up in the Academy so people could mix it, because as you've seen, we've gone through 4 different songs here and they're all completely different. There's no one genre. We do everything here, every genre mixed live recorded stuff, overdubbed, created in a box like this, completely created in a box with just the singer, just plugged in the guitar, everything was done super dumb. This was written and recorded as a demo that became a master. And I like the song a lot, but yes, the kick and snare is super loud. But I was thinking about that Pink song, which I'm blanking on the name, and it had this Hendrix-style guitar, and then it was just like the loudest, most aggressive kick and snare. It's tough because I agree. I think the kick and snare could both come down together, probably the snare 2 dB and the kick a dB and a half, and then rebounce it and listen. And it probably would open up the whole song. I think the vocals are really actually rather good. If the drums weren't as loud, they'd probably almost be in the right place. I do love the stereo panning in the chorus. And wake me wide awake, make me wide awake. I think it's kind of a really nice trick. So I think the first thing I would do, Kepler, and by the way, the mix is great. Sonically, really good choices on EQ and compression in general. But what I would do is I'd bring the kick and the snare down overall and have a listen. Yeah, it might have been that song Sober. But the point is like, yeah, so bring those 2 elements down, then rebounce and listen to it. Listen to it, because one of the biggest mistakes I've made, and reason why sometimes people say to me, how do you mix so quickly? It's because I try to make global decisions. If I'm sitting there trying to do 57 different things at once, what will end up happening is I have no point of reference. So I think if you bring that kick and snare down dramatically, you're going to find that mix is going to open up a lot, and it's going to make you listen to everything differently. So I would start by doing that. I think the vocal in the verses could be a tiny bit louder, and probably a tiny bit louder in the choruses, although it's a little closer in the choruses than it is, Hey Stu, in Tokyo. So I think it's catch 22. Bring the kick and snare down. But we're talking about many, many tracks that are playing on the radio currently where the kick and snare is unbelievably loud. So you've always got to sort of fight between what we like to be pleasing and typical, and what sometimes the wrongness. It's all right, get that wrongness. To be honest, for me, I'd probably turn the drums down and I'd probably add a bit of saturation, just a shade, just a touch, a little bit in there. And also, good night, Adam. Also, like, put a little tiny delay in there underneath, because they are programmed drums and they are like boom, jet, boom, jet, and super dumb, but a little irregular, slightly out of time, distorted, dark delay. So it's like, and that will give it some thickness as well. So the other thing I'd like to, Mark said he'd like to hear is a piano ballad. Well, Mark, download the multi-tracks and play piano on it. That's the other thing, is you can take that vocal and do whatever you like to it. That's another wonderful thing that we can do. So I'm really happy with the direction on that. I think Kepler did some really interesting things. And remember, there's a lot of these multi-tracks in the Academy. So we're going to listen to, we've got 3 more, and we're going to do our last giveaway in a second. And this one will also give you a year's membership to the Academy when we do the next giveaway. So stick around. And if you haven't already, join the Academy. It's $99 today. Matt is going to put a link up. And please hit the like button. That would be absolutely stupendous. It's always lovely when people hit the like button. Okay. This one is City Lights. This is David. This is another song recorded completely differently. This track was largely recorded, not entirely, about half recorded live at Sunset Sound with phenomenal musicians. And then we came back here and I did overdubs of guitars, etc. And David sung it here. But this is like the basis of this song was done there. Ken Sluter did a mix of this, which you can actually see in the Academy. He did a full in-the-box mix of this breakdown, and I did a mix of it hybrid. So if you're an Academy member, you can watch two different people breaking down the mixes and showing you how it was mixed. Remember, it's not just giving away multi-tracks. It's also mix breakdowns. You get to see how other people mixed it. Here we go.
The city lights are far behind, and I can see it now that I'm on my own. Wheels up, head for the future, no more rust in here.
So I'm going to stop. Okay, sometimes, we'll nip it in the bud. It's a little, this is a characteristic of David's voice. He's got a little bit, wheels up for the future. It's got a little bit of this nasalness in his voice. Everybody has something. Trust me, I've recorded thousands of singers, and everybody has something. Now, what we did, this vocal was recorded on a U48. The microphone, the exact microphone that Adele, Someone Like You was done, that Steven Tyler sung the whole last Aerosmith record on, and that Isaac sung How to Save a Life on. So this is a great microphone. But, yes, it's the Workday release. But even though it is a U48 and worth $1 billion, it doesn't mean it was the best mic for the job. We recently, inadvertently, accidentally, what was it? The 440 Pure? Threw up the Lewitt 440 Pure, which is under $300. It's $200 and something. We threw it up, and he sang on that, and it was more open and worked better for his voice. So that's why, go back and listen to this now, realizing that the mic had a little bit too much of this and didn't open up on the top end. I think go back on that and then think about this vocal. Think about like pulling out some 400, a bit of 600, and opening up 7, 8, 9, 10, and K. Have a listen to it now.
The city lights are far behind, and I can see it now that I'm on my own. Wheels up, head for the future, no more rust in here with the lifeless. Dig deep, say what you think, and I'm not gonna follow. I'm not gonna follow. Take off, show me the stars. I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to leave the city. I'm flat broke. Show me the road to the good life. The good life. The good life. Take off, show me the stars. Away from the lights. Away from the lights in the city. I'm flat broke. Show me the road to the good life. The good life. The good life. The fast and fake are far behind.
Cool. I've been digging this a lot. I think with the exception of the vocal, it's sounding really, really good. There's got to be, and this is Bengt, and Bengt does great work. Is he online at the moment? I love what he does. Now, there's moments that I think that we need to milk it a little bit more. Like that dun 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 da 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 da, that little drum fill going back into the second verse. Everything needs to come down around it and need to be pushed up. This is where automation comes in. It's a little tick, tick, tick on the kick, a little less 7K on that, and push up that snare. And it doesn't matter if it's just that moment, you push it up.
Fast and fake.
Another issue that happens a lot is when we have multiple mics on kick drums. So you might have a kick in, a kick out, one pulled back a bit, is that you have to be careful boosting the high end. I think what happens when there's like 3 kick drum mics and room mics and overheads and stuff is if they're all picking up that high end, you get a little bit of a flam on the kick. So instead of getting tick, 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 you get a tick, 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 tick. Have a listen to the kick drum. Use your ears, pinpoint it, and you'll hear a little bit of flamming because there's multiple mics picking up the top end. So what I would do is I would take the kick in and use the kick end for the high end, and then use the other kick drum mics to give you more low end. Have a listen. I don't think the drums are quantized on this. I mean, they might be super tight, but it was a very, very dense mix. Anyway, so there's a couple of comments about the vocal sound. I think that, yes, I think it's pulling out that 400 to 600. And I do agree there's a tiny bit of pumping going on the low end. Not terrible. We have a lot more of those kind of things happening. But in general, there's a little bit more on there. So let's go back to that chorus. So to answer Tony's question here, now when we talk about the pumping, is it sometimes if there's a lot of low end. Now, this is why high passing again, you can get a download of these songs if you're an Academy member. Some of them are free that we've done over the years, but the rest of them are Academy only. So what happens is like when you get low end, like excessive amounts of low end in multiple instruments, that's going to hit when we say pumping, like a kick drum going boom, boom, boom. Well, every time it hits, it's gonna hit the compressor harder than anything else. So there's multiple things you can do. First of all, you can sidechain compress your mix. Like a VSC, the Vertigo has a sidechain compressor. Let's have a look. The Tegeler Cream, which you can't see from here, I'm looking at the frequencies, has a 60 and a 120. And what you can do is you can let 60 hertz go through the compression and not have it affect the compressor. So it will then compress the mids. So that way you can kind of, not the mids, but everything above that more evenly. So it doesn't, so every time the kick's doing it, isn't going whoosh, squashing down the whole mix. So that's why you get the pumping, because the kick drum is doing most of the control on the compressor. So I don't think it's pumping that much. It's just a little bit. That happens quite a lot. Now, the next thing, of course, is that tickiness on the click, where it's multiple mics. I would choose one of the mics for the kick drum and only have that for the high end. Other than that, it's taking out that 400 to 600 area in the vocal, and we're going to be in a good place. All right, we've got two more to listen to, and on the last one, we're going to do the giveaway. So great work, Bang. Bang does great work and really helps lots and lots of other people. So two more versions of City Lights. Here is JJ's mix of City Lights.
gonna follow. Take off, show me the stars. I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to leave the city of Flatbrook. Show me the road to the good life, the good life, the good life. Take off, show me the stars. Away from the lights, away from the lights in the city of Flatbrook. Show me the road to the good life, the good life, the good life. Fast and fake are far behind, and I can hear the wind saying it will be alright. Now, wheels up, head for the future. No more rusting here with the lifeless. Dig deep, say what you're thinking. I'm not gonna follow. I'm not gonna follow. Take off, show me the stars. I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to leave the city of Flatbrook. Show me the road to the good life, the good life, the good life. Take off, show me the stars. Away from the lights, away from the lights in the city of Flatbrook. Show me the road to the good life, the good life, the good life. I want the night sky magic. I want the patient light. I need a new perspective from on the other side. Wheels up, head for the future. No more rusting here with the lifeless. Dig deep, say what you're thinking. We're not gonna follow. Take off, show me the stars. I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to leave the city of Flatbrook. Show me the road to the good life, the good life, the good life. Take off, show me the stars. Away from the lights, away from the lights in the city of Flatbrook. Show me the road to the good life, the good life, the good life.
Wow. Bravo. So there you go. What's the phrase? Creativity is king. A couple of people made, comparisons to other artists and stuff like that. That is a very, very, very creative remix. I'll call it a mix/remix. It takes the song and makes it a little bit more pop. I think JJ, all of the creativity there, takes it over the top. But I think the mix detail needs a little bit more work. There's a lot of there's a lot of sort of clutterish areas in the 3 to 5K area. It gets a little around there. I think you need to create a little bit more room. In general, though, it is phenomenal. I love the gated idea of the drums at the beginning here.
The city lights are far behind, and I can see it now.
That's just really, really super creative. The vocals in general sound really, really good. The manipulation you did to them is great.
Take off, show me the stars. I'm ready to leave.
You're right. Somebody says it's got a very teen sitcom vibe about it. It does. It sounds very, very young. I love how it works. Really, really good. Absolutely fantastic. Wow. Very, very impressed. So what I would suggest on it, though, is just to spend a little bit more time on the detail on the mix. Just get in there and give me a little bit more 3 to 5K detail. Another thing I would do is, I love the gated snare, but it's not as aggressive as I'd like it. I'd like it to be slightly more aggressive. Have a listen. I like the I like hearing that, but I want to hear a bit of a gong, gong, a little bit of a ring, a little bit of the rim shot, a little bit of the side stick, a little bit of whatever we want to call it. The sound of that, just a little bit. So it's a little tiny bit more aggressive, because that's one of the things that's blurring in. Like a little bit of too much softness on the snare mixed in with the high end on the vocal is getting a little bit crowded in that area. So otherwise, phenomenal mix. You just need to get in there and do some really serious detail work. Love the vocal sound. Really, really amazing. Okay. We're going to our last mix. Great work, JJ. Really impressed. Is Spectrum 424 of their version of City Lights. I have to use the restroom like a vengeance. I'm going to leave you with something. Okay. This is to win not only Auric Wild's mixing rock, which is a really, really good course. Not only his course, but also a year's membership. When Stifler's mum going to show up, nice. But also a year's membership to the Academy. So if you're not already a member of the Academy, this is another way you can get in. If you can't afford it, I totally understand. Here you go. Sorry, Alex. We'll see you next time on the stream. Great to have you here as always. Please, everybody, before you enter this next competition, will you hit that like button? Please hit that like button, share it, do all kinds of stuff. I'm going to leave you with Eric's going to listen down to this. And I'm going to pop off to the lav. Yes, far too much coffee. I drink lots of coffee. Don't sleep as much. You don't buy coffee, you just rent it. That's nicely put. Yes, so year's membership and Auric's course. So please hit the like button and share and all kinds of wonderful stuff. Thank you everybody who's been watching. It's always great to have 300-400 people on here live at all times. Pretty amazing. The question would be, we talked about what you're monitoring on. We talked about the DAW that you're using. What? Lifetime members, Michael B. Yep. Oh, we do lifetime memberships. You can buy those as well. They're super. Okay. I want to talk. There's a couple of questions, and I'm just trying to think. We had a lot of talk about the DAWs, a lot of talk about the headphones. The question is a question that anybody can answer. And what we are doing is we're getting Academy members and community to communicate with each other and help each other out. Yeah. Koss has got a good question. I think a hardware question. What I/O are you using? If you're not using an I/O, are you just using the onboard computer's sound card? What do you use? What make? Is it Audient? And if not only is it an Audient, you can see there's an ID44 sitting down here. Oh. So we use Audient every day, as you know. So if it's an Audient, is it a RME? What is it? Are you using, we have HD stuff, HDX, are you using Apogee? What are you using? Lavry, QES, what do you use? Let us know what you use. Be very excited to know. So that's important. If you're just using the sound card, let us know. If you're using only an iPad or an iPhone, that's also great. No, the community doesn't use Discord. We actually have a forum inside of the Academy, and we also have a really, really vibrant Academy page on Facebook. So, all right, I'm going to use the bathroom. And Eric, come here. Come hither. Hithering. You're going to listen to the song. All right. Going to get the ear of Eric.
The city lights are far behind, and I can see it now that I'm on my own. Wheels up, head for the future. No more rusting here with the life good life, the good life, the good life. Take off, show me the stars, away from the lights, away from the lights in the city. I'm flat broke, show me the road to the good life, the good life, the good life. I want the night sky magic, I want the patient light. I need a new perspective from on the other side. Wheels up, head for the future. No more rust in here with the lifeless. Dig deep, say what you think, and we're not gonna follow. Take off, show me the stars. I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to leave the city. I'm flat broke. Show me the road to the good life, the good life, the good life. Take off, show me the stars. Away from the lights, away from the lights in the city. I'm flat broke. Show me the road to the good life, the good life, the good life.
Jeez, that was really good. I really wouldn't know what to pick at if there's anything to pick at for my ears. I mean, I'm still developing my ears and all that, so I'm still learning. But that sounded really good. I really liked it. There was a point where it did sound like the lead vocal kind of got a little lost in there. I don't remember what section it was at, but I'd probably listen to it again. I don't know. Maybe that was on purpose, so like that the background vocals can just shine in that moment or something. Just my guess. If anything, automation on that part. Or I think it might have been in the chorus, and I don't know if this might benefit it in general during the chorus. But I know Warren likes to, in choruses, he likes to get his vocal effects and boost them up 3 dB or so around there. Someone's at the door. Give me a sec, guys. I'm gonna check who's at the door. And I mean, I guess in the meantime, I'll just play it back again. Bear with me, guys.
The city lights are far behind, and I can see it now that I'm on my own. Wheels up, head for the future. No more rust in here with the lifeless. Dig deep, say what you think, and I'm not gonna follow. I'm not gonna follow. Take off, show me the stars. I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to leave the city. I'm flat broke. Show me the road to the good life.
So Spectrum 424. This is the second or third mix that we've reviewed of them, and it's pretty freaking amazing. Yeah, Eric locked me out. Really, really good stuff. Always impressed with his work or her work. Sorry, I don't know who it is. Their work.
Take off, show me the stars. I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to leave the city. I'm flat broke. Show me the road to the good life, the good
We will be getting guest engineers to do reviews of us, yeah.
follow. Take off, show me the stars. I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to leave the city. I'm flat broke. Show me the road to the good life, the good life, the good life. Take off, show me the stars. Away from the lights, away from the lights in the city. I'm flat broke. Show me the road to the good life, the good life, the good life.
Fantastic work. Really, really fantastic work. I think with that mix, it's always going to be about maybe creating a little bit more dynamics. It's really super like go for it. all the way through, but I would use this opportunity, like here, to create some more dynamics. The vocal in the chorus could definitely come up a little bit. And it's more about probably doing just tiny amounts of automation. It's that, and the reason why I'm talking about those minutiae is because when a mix is this good and this close, that's when you need to get into there and just like do detailed stuff. That's where we end up doing the detail. Yeah, Tom's saying it's too squashed. I wouldn't say it's too squashed. I know where you're going. It's just right on the verge of everything being up there. So I think it's just a case of creating some more dynamics or keeping the dynamics a little bit more, having some more drop down kind of places. It's really fantastic. And as Toby is pointing out, you can hear all the mixes on SoundCloud. Toby creates those playlists for us every month. So if you're in the Academy, go and check that out. And leave messages for each other. Toby's in there. He does amazing work. Wow. Great work, Spectrum 424. Fantastic. JJ, great creativity. Everybody did some insanely good work. The point of doing this is we all learn off of each other. And that is what's great. We can share that. If you like somebody's vocal sound, you ask them about it. Like, what were you doing on the vocal sound? And then we communicate it. It's really wonderful. Anyway, hope you're all doing marvelously well and you really enjoyed that. If you haven't, please subscribe. Check out the Academy. Matt is going to post it again, but we're doing a crazy deal at the moment. This has been absolutely wonderful. Please hit that like button before you go. Please hit the like button. I really appreciate it. Have a marvelous time recording and mixing. You're welcome, Spectrum 424. Great work. So please hit the like button. Share it. Let everybody know about it. If you're not yet in, I would bring the vocal up and I'd make some more space from it, some high mid space for it. If you're not already a member of the Academy, we have a deal on. Matt's going to post links. Please wait till after the video. Come back after the video is loaded and leave me some comments and questions. Really love it. And also go back and look at the video. And if somebody's asking a question and you have a good answer for it, answer, help each other out. I mean, you do it already, but that's what the community is all about, is about helping each other. Have a marvelous time recording and mixing. I really appreciate it. You all rock. Lauren L. Scott Knight is sitting over there. For those of you Academy members, we're going to do some piano. Although I just got a text saying that the power went out because they're in West Hollywood. Because that's what happens in LA when it rains. Everything goes. Eric gets to be. Oh wait, Eric's always late. But anyway, Eric's late because Eric's just late, and the power went out at Harmony. Yeah, it is what it is. All right, we'll have a marvelous time recording and mixing. And I'll speak to you all again very soon. Thank you ever so much. Check out the Academy if you're not already a member. You can join it now on a great deal. Thanks, Henrique. Thank you all. Have a marvelous